So I can't quite believe I'm saying this, but in today's episode, I'm going to be playing a guitar owned by Gary Moore. This guitar was played significantly in the last 2 years of Gary Moore's life. He used to play Parisian Walkways on it at the end of his set. It's a 1959 reissue from 2009, and it's absolutely gorgeous. This one is going to be an emotional one, and I can't wait to shred on this thing. So without further ado, let's get straight into this Squealing Pig Guitars episode. Hello guitarists, welcome back to Squealing Pig Guitars, the home of luxury shred machines here in Nottingham, England. My name is Ben Keightley, and today we've got a very exciting episode to show you. This is the first video where we've covered an artist-owned guitar, and we're starting off right at the top with one of the most legendary guitar players of all time. This is a Gary Moore-owned 1959 reissue Les Paul from 2009. Gary Moore used this significantly in the last 2 years of his life, and he most notably used to play Parisian Walkways on it, hence the intro jam choice. This guitar has a little bit of belt buckle rash and a few dents, but it's a very well kept guitar. So inside this case, there's a piece of rock and roll history. As you can see, it's a Gibson custom case. We've got a little bit of writing down here. As you can see, it says Gibson Les Paul Standard LP 59 reissue, the serial number, and it says Frankfurt, which is the nickname of this Gary Moore owned guitar. Opening it up, we have an absolutely stunning Gibson Les Paul, owned by Gary Moore from 2009. Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul, got a lovely two-piece figured maple top, rosewood fingerboard, all the stuff you'd expect. This is quite overwhelming seeing this is incredible. So I have to say, I'm literally shaking right now. It's so exciting having an artist-owned Gary Moore guitar. So let's grab it out of the case and go over the history of this incredible guitar. So let's run down a little bit of history about the guitar. So it was bought in 2009 in a shop in Frankfurt, and Gary Moore played it on UK tours and some Japanese dates, most notably in April 2010. He also played it on a few festival dates, but you can see it in lots of live videos on YouTube. Sadly, after Gary Moore passed away, it was sold at auction in 2022. The guitar was also featured in Young Guitar magazine as part of an overview of the equipment used by Gary for the Japanese tour in early 2010. It's safe to say this is one iconic Gibson Les Paul, so without further ado, let's run down the specs of this beast. So guys, I've got the Frankfurt 1959 reissue Gibson Les Paul in my hands now, and I can't quite believe I've got this guitar in my hands. First of all, thank you so much to our friend for lending this to us for today's video. Without him, this video wouldn't have been possible, so thank you so much. And of course, this is a 2009 1959 reissue Gibson Les Paul Standard. But what makes this guitar so special is that it was gigged, performed, and owned by Gary Moore. This guitar was used in the last 2 years of his life, and it played a significant role in his live shows. But of course, we can go over the specs of this guitar, but obviously the special thing is that Gary Moore played this live. So there's a couple of pictures on the screen now showing Gary Moore actually playing this exact guitar. It's a completely unmodified 2009 Gibson Les Paul Standard from the custom shop. So you have a mahogany back, one piece with the aniline die, mahogany neck with that R9 profile. Got a beautiful two-piece flame maple top with like a heritage cherry sunburst on it. Of course, we've got the two PAF style pickups that are unpotted, ABR1 bridge and stop tailpiece. 2 volumes, 2 tones. You've got the bumblebee caps in this one. I have to say that these volume and tone potentiometers are some of the most reactive I've heard on a Les Paul. You can get about 4 or 5 different tones on each pickup with these 2 volumes and tones, and all of them are usable, which is really cool. I'm not sure if these were changed out or if it's original, but there's so many tones you can get out of these pots. They sound incredible. Moving on, of course, we have a rosewood fingerboard. It's got quite a light rosewood fingerboard on this one. Usually these days you see them a little bit darker, but obviously you've got the celluloid inlays with the ambered lacquer over them, classic cream binding, and of course it's a Gibson Les Paul, so you've obviously got that lovely silk screen on the headstock, you've got the Gibson logo, and you've got the Gibson Deluxe tuners. So at its bare bones, it's nothing more than a Gibson Les Paul standard from the custom shop, but obviously the history of this guitar is so significant. Gary Moore is one of the most legendary guitar players to ever live. His voice on the instrument was so unique, and it's so hard to replicate his tone. I've had such a hard time today trying to get near to his tone, because not only does the amp need to be feeding back and loud, but you have to be able to control the notes. You know, it's a lot of bending as well, lots of vibrato. I think he's one of the hardest players to replicate. So I've done my very best for today's episode, but I'm by no means a pro at playing Gary Moore stuff. I don't think his songs can be replicated, in my humble opinion. But anyways, that being said, we've gone over the specs, we've gone over the history of this guitar, so it's time to plug it in. So let's go to the tone demonstration. So guys, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to plug in this beautiful 1959 reissue called Frankfurt, which is of course Gary Moore's personal stage guitar. In the intro to today's video, I played a cover of Parisian Walkways, which is probably the most famous song that is associated with this guitar. To achieve that tone, I'm using my 2-rock Bloomfield drive on a very loud setting with the mid-range and bright switches engaged on EQ2. I've also got a tube screamer on and a lot of volume in the room. It's very loud, it feedbacks a lot. But with that neck pickup, you could just get that glorious Gary Moore tone. As you can hear there, as I roll back the volume, you can get a really nice kind of quiet, slightly crunchy tone. Then as you go to that bridge pickup, you get that beautiful mid-range bright tone. So of course, for them shrieking melodic tones, I'm using a lot more gain than I usually would on this lead gain channel. So I've just reduced a little bit of that gain now and reduced some of the reverb to get a bit more of an honest crunch tone so we can hear what these pickups sound like. To my ear anyway, these are like the unpotted PAF style pickups. So they scream really nicely, but they roll back very nicely as well. So on the bridge pickup, this is just the kind of classic distortion tone. I'm just going to reduce the mid-range and a little bit of that gain. So really nice tone. Running all the tone off, you can get a nice woman tone. let's hit the neck pickup now and turn off the tube screamer and just play some traditional blues. So I love these pickups. They've just got such a nice unpotted PAF tone, and really these are kind of my favorite pickups in a Gibson. They're, you know, dynamic enough, they can scream, but they can also cut back. So on the clean setting now, you'll hear how dynamic this front pickup is. So let's hear it. So now you'll hear on the front pickup just how dynamic this guitar is. With fingers, on the clean setting, it has a really nice tone. A little bit more volume on the picker. With a tone on 3, you can get a really nice jazz tone. Such a sweet guitar, you know, from 1 to 3 you get a nice jazz tone, 3 to 5 getting that kind of middle neck pickup tone you normally get on like a 3-3-5, and then right at the top get a really nice kind of brittle neck pickup tone. That's what I look for in a Gibson. You want pickups that have loads of different tones just built into the volume and tone control. That was a pleasure playing that today. So let's play tribute to Gary Moore one last time, and also a big thank you to our friend for lending this guitar to us today. Let's do some fuzz tones to play us out. guys, that's the end of the tone demonstration for today. We've made some noise, I've had a lot of fun, so let's go to the outro of this video where I give my full review and rating on this Gary Moore guitar. So guys, that is the end of this Gary Moore themed episode. I really hope you've enjoyed checking out a piece of rock and roll history. Again, this is probably one of the coolest videos I've ever made. I've had such a blast playing this today, so thank you so much to our friend for lending this to us today. But obviously, let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of the Gary Moore 2009 Gibson Les Paul Standard? Of course, it's played on stage, it's been performed, it's been gigged, it's got a bit of wear to it, but fundamentally, it's in really good condition. But most importantly, guys, let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of this stage-played Gary Moore Gibson Les Paul Standard? Do you love how it sounds? Do you like how it looks? Let me know down below. And also, whilst you're down there, let me know which Gary Moore track is your favourite. I know mine has to be the Loner, it's such an iconic melody, but let me know down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button to see more guitars just like this one. As this channel continues to grow, it means we'll get more opportunities to get awesome artist-owned guitars just like this one on the channel, so make sure to hit subscribe to join the Squealing Pig Guitars community. As always, I will see you tomorrow for another one. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, I really appreciate it, and yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for another episode. But until then, keep rocking guys, I'll see you soon.